Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ben Gilman, and welcome to Squire's Syndrome podcast. Once again, as always, I'm joined by Tom Hill
Hello.
and Troy Salmon.
What's up?
Hey guys, how we doing?
Doing good, man. I'm back. Let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, you're refreshed. You sound zippy, zingy.
Always.
That just sounds like a drink. If you were a drink, you'd be a lemon twist, mate. How about you, Tom? How's everything?
Yeah, not too bad, man.
Yeah,
Just
you're
plodding on through.
That's what we do.
It's what we do. You sound like New York Mafia. That's what we do.
I'll put a little bit of Mark Henry in there. That's what we do.
What we do, yo. A bit of text in there, yeah? Wrestling jokes. We have them.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Oh
So Tom,
my
you're up
God.
first, boy. Off you go.
I'm up first. Okay. All right. So I'm bringing two shows this week. The first one is a show that finished back end of 2019 for its second season. It has been set up for a third. It's a show called Succession.
Oh,
You guys heard of it?
I've heard of it, but yeah, I've heard of it.
Definitely worth the watch. It's hard to describe where it falls. It's kind of a drama, but at the same time, there's some real black humor to it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, the basic premise is it's following this guy called Logan Roy and his family, and he's the head of a multimedia empire. Essentially, it's sending up and taking the piss out of a family who own newspapers like The Sun and things like that. I'm not going to say the name because I'll get myself in trouble. But yeah, so I'm not saying it is them, but it's based on people like them. Just like Drop the Dead Donkey was blatantly about either Robert Maxwell or Rupert Murdoch. This is obviously about the same kind of people again. And
Yeah.
it's about, as the name suggests, it's about the succession. So Logan Roy is supposedly about to kind of hand the reins over to his son. And his eldest son, Jeremy, is like, Kendall, is like the natural expected successor. And then his dad completely screws him over in the first episode. And it's like, I'm not quitting anytime soon. And it's the amount of backbiting and entitlement, and it's just it's beautiful because all of these guys, they're talking about somebody getting an inheritance of 7 million and going, oh no, that's horrible, you don't want that. You go, what do you mean 7 million? There's 7 million's not enough because you can't work anymore, but it's not enough to actually do anything with.
You can't enough with that.
Jesus Christ. And yeah, so this is the kind of thing we're talking about. And you've got one member of the family is from an earlier marriage of this guy, and he's all about how he's a social reformer and he wants all these great things for people and he's a socialist.
Yeah.
Yet he still takes daddy's money and he keeps asking him for a few million. It's only a couple of million and stuff like that. So
Like
it's just
you do.
like,
Nice.
this is how the other half live, kind of thing.
Wait, is it
And
the guy from Homeland?
A little bit.
It's the guy from Homeland, isn't it? It's the main guy from Homeland, the one with the red hair. It's him, isn't it?
No, not him. No.
Oh, look for me. I'll probably another show. No, that's Billions. That's Billions.
No,
Sorry about that.
Logan Roy is played by Brian Cox.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yes.
Yeah. And he is playing a Scotsman, so he's not taking himself too far out of his own comfort zone. But it's interesting because it's written or co-written. Oh, it's written by the guy who co-wrote Peep Show. So you get an idea of the kind of humour that they will hit at.
Interesting.
Without it being an out-and-out comedy.
Yeah.
But it's got that kind of dry wit and humour, and that sarcasm is there that you find in things like Peep Show is in this as well. And it's just, I cannot recommend it highly enough. There's one thing that happens at, I think it's the end of the first series. This main character, Logan Roy, he has a stroke.
Yeah.
And it's just really interesting from a personal perspective. I had a family member who had a massive stroke similar to this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my family member survived it, as does the character. And Brian Cox's performance of somebody who's had a stroke and has no feeling down one side of the body, it's so perfect. It was exactly like the family member I had. It's like I was sitting there going, either he's had a stroke in the past or he's been around someone who's had that kind of stroke, because it's perfect. The angle of the foot, everything is just so, it's not cliched. It's not like how you'd imagine it. It's subtle, it's beautiful, it's so well acted.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I just sat there going, that is one of the best performances of that kind of trauma I've ever seen in my life. So on top of it being funny and it being well written and it being fast paced, and it's like the second series is all about how they were brushing like nasty secrets under the carpet for years. Like they had a whole file of this guy who was molesting staff.
Yeah.
And they just kept brushing it under the. So it touches on some like the issues of that's come out of a lot of companies, like the film director whose name completely escapes me. Weinstein.
Jimmy Savile.
No, Weinstein. So
Weinstein,
using their position to kind of hide things. Like there's a character who you never meet because he's died at the beginning of the series, and everyone knew him as Mo. And the one who keeps putting his foot in things goes to the funeral and refers to him as Mo, and they go, no, his name was Lester. And that's because his nickname was Mo Lester. That's what he was known as by everybody.
Oh,
and so they just knew him as Mo. Because, yeah, it's dark, it is right on the edge at points, but utterly brilliant. I cannot recommend it highly enough. There's now about 20 odd episodes. It's about an hour long per episode, and yeah, totally worth it.
So how can people see that in the UK?
It's where it's done. Sky have the rights, so it's on like Now TV or Sky Store. It's Sky Atlantic.
So pirating them so Sky don't get any money. There we go.
Yeah, well, I'm never going to advocate piracy, but
never.
what you feel the need to do.
Never. I'll never advocate for that ever. Never.
Murdoch will never have my money.
Oh wow. Well, it sounds like a good show though. I've seen it like around, but I've never actually pressed on it. Like I've actually watched it, but it looks alright. Looks decent.
Yeah, like I say, brilliant cast, brilliant actors, great writer. Yeah, watch it. Worth it. The second one I'm going for today is probably going to sound like quite an odd one. It's going to sound like quite a bubblegum show for me to pick.
Okay, I'm ready.
Prepare yourself, Troy.
I'm ready.
Go on.
I'm holding my pants. Butt cheeks clenched.
I can't describe why I like this show so much, but I really do. It's a show called White Collar.
Oh.
Wait, is it that way? Oh, it's like, okay, I know what it is, yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's a show about basically a career criminal, smooth-talking career criminal who gets released out of prison to be the criminal informant for the FBI. And it's a crime caper thing pretty much every week. But it's just really good fun. And there's not a huge amount to say about it. It's got a great cast behind it. The acting is fantastic. It's not fantastic. It's like I say, it's a bubblegum show in terms of there's no great substance to it.
Yeah, nothing to it.
But
yeah.
It's enjoyable. It's fun. Yeah, it pushes your disbelief ever so slightly because it's not quite natural. And it's amazing how there are so many of these types of crimes in one city. But other than that, it works really nicely. And basically you've got the FBI agent who caught this guy and has now got him as his informant, doesn't trust him, and he is always trying to get one over on the FBI guy as well, but they're also friends. And it's just the dynamic works. And yeah, it's a beautifully worked show, and you kind of sit there thinking that's kind of cool because this guy's a master forger. He's brilliant at pretty much everything he turns his hand to, and it's just like, yeah, you know he's a baddie, but you love the character. And
okay, here's one of them. Yeah, it's kind of like Suits, isn't it?
Yeah, well, this was. I'm sure that the people who wrote Suits had seen White Collar.
Yeah, it had to be, yeah.
But it's now completely finished as a show. They had 6 seasons. Most of them were about 13, 14 episodes. The last season was only 6 episodes. I think they had originally planned to finish on 5.
Yeah.
But they couldn't fit in the whole story that they wanted to end on. So they did 6 more episodes.
I gotta watch that show.
To really finish it properly. And yeah, it's a really good show. It's good fun. There's drama. People come into the show, people come out of it. There's lots of double dealing. And there's always some really good heist bit in there, like the guy base jumps off the top of a building, things like that. And it's quite unbelievable, but at the same time, it's awesome.
No, I want
It's
to
on
do crime
Netflix
shows.
as well. I've
So you
seen
have
one
to suspend
on
your
Netflix.
disbelief slightly, but
Yeah.
it's good fun. And I said to you guys on day one, I'm a fan of like working out who the bad guy is, that kind of thing. And that
I love
occasionally,
that.
so it's kind of a bit of that. It's not on the level of like a really good who done it, because they tell you quite early on normally who did it. It's a how was it all done as much as anything. And it's an enjoyably silly show.
Yeah.
And also you get to see lots of cool card tricks, things like that. So it's all about how to be double dealing and have deception. So it's good fun, and I would recommend it if, whilst you're in the situation we're currently in, if you've got a list of shows you're putting on, this is one that will not tax your brain, but you will enjoy.
It's on Netflix as well. So I've seen it. It's on my list.
Yeah, it's available on Netflix. And like I say, you could watch it. It's the kind of thing that the whole family could watch because it never goes too far in any direction that's negative. So.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are my 2 recommendations for this week.
Okay, I like it. That's nice. Solid two.
Yeah,
Solid
a bit different for
number 2.
me.
Solid number 2. I just done a poo joke, right? Okay.
Oh, lovely.
Oh my god.
The mental age of a 5-year-old, and I'm the one that's married. Yeah. So, Troy, do you want to go next?
Right, okay. I'll go next. Okay, so I'm gonna start off. Actually, it's a similar vein as Tom. To be fair, like I'm talking about cookie cutter, more bubble gum, but at the same time, it's deep. Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Cobra Kai never dies. All right, I love it. There we go. So let's start with Cobra Kai, guys. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Have you guys seen it? Oh.
This is the Karate Kid spin-off.
Yes.
Yeah.
On Amazon.
I haven't seen it, but I've been told by loads of people that I'd really enjoy it.
Yeah, trust me. If you like the original Karate Kids, this one like is more realistic take. You know what I'm saying? More adult based. Because it's a YouTube original, so it's basically YouTube funded. So you can watch it on there as well. So if you want to watch it anyway, you can watch it on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch it there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And literally each episode is like really short. Literally it's like 20 minutes each episode.
So what's the plot about?
So
I know what the plot is roughly, but
all right, let's do it. Okay, so 34 years after the defeat of the All Valley Karate Tournament, that was the original one after the end of like literally that was part 2. So Johnny Lawrence, he's literally a broken down 50-year-old man now. So literally he's going from job to job. So literally the storyline basically focuses on Johnny, like the villain of like the Karate Kid movies.
Oh, the Hitler Youth kid.
Yeah, the blonde one, yeah. Sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg. Street Fighter style. How many people did that with Ryan Kent? Sweep the leg. Damn in Street Fighter 2. Bison, I'm going to sweep the leg.
That's what Street Fighter got from you. Hey, so we got like, you know what I'm saying, my boy Kreese, the main villain in that actual show as well, the original one, the movies. He comes back literally at the end of like, I think end of season 1. Kreese shows up and he's like, oh my god, it's crazy. But before we go all there, so basically Johnny Lawrence is in his 50s now. He's working in construction, lives in an apartment in Reseda, LA. So literally he just rocks up to this place because basically he's away from his son, so he's trying to get a job. Because he had this son with this woman who's literally a drunk and just sleeps around all the time. So the son's literally just does his own thing. He's literally gone crazy, running with a gang. So his son's all messed up. Johnny's all messed up, so he's just trying to find his purpose in life. And literally, guess what happens, yo? He sees Danny LaRusso, Ralph Macchio, yo.
Right.
How well has he aged?
Huh?
How well has Danny Ray?
He's aged pretty well, to be fair. He's aged pretty well. Yes.
Okay.
He's aged pretty well. He looks decent. Looks alright. So literally, he's at home now. He's literally broken down. He hardly got any money coming in. Sees Danny LaRusso on TV with his own auto dealership. Rich out here, rich. While he's looking all depressed in his house. No family. The LaRusso got his family business. The LaRusso I can't remember what it's even called. The LaRusso establishment, something like that. He's got his own massive business. So literally, guess what happens here? The fate intertwines. Johnny is literally driving down the road. He's going somewhere. I don't know can't remember where he's going. He's going somewhere. And literally, Danny's daughter crashes into his car.
Right.
Yeah. And then he's trying to get his car fixed. And then he's like, oh man, because literally everywhere else is expensive. Like you can't get his stuff fixed anywhere else. And he has to go to his dealership. Because he didn't even know it was his dealership because like there was two guys who was there talking to him. He's like, okay, I need to get my car fixed. Danny rocks up and literally Johnny tries to run away. He's like, Danny's like, wait, is that you, Johnny? Is that you? Then he's like, oh yeah, it's me. And then he goes, oh yeah, you have to come over, come by sometime. You know what I'm saying? Let's chat it up. So then Johnny just like, no, he gets angry, smashes the car, walks out. And then that's when he starts his own dojo. So that's where he kicks off all the way from there. So that's how his whole thing starts. He creates a dojo. To try and get money, to try and rival Danny, you know what I mean? To try and make a success of his life because he kind of inspires him, you know what I mean? In that way. So
okay.
So then all the way through this show, it's on 2 seasons down now, so I'm waiting for season 3 is about to come out.
I thought he was going to Danny's daughter there, and then Mr. Miyagi would be like a Jedi ghost, just giving.
Oh, wow. The amount of people that said that in this show said he's got to bring back somehow, like a spirit or something. I was like, I don't know.
Isn't the actor who played Mr. Miyagi dead now, though?
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead.
Yeah. So it's a bit difficult to bring him back for a show.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, no, that's
I was being a bit facetious. The arsehole came.
I know that's in bad taste, man. Come on now.
Wash off. Your car's at wash down, son. Wash on, wash off.
Oh, see, that should be the name of his auto dealership. Wax on, wax off.
Yeah, literally, that's what he does. Like, literally, because he basically his Johnny's son goes to train with Danny, so that starts a whole conflict by itself.
Right.
Yeah, because his actual son working with Danny. He's like, oh my days, nah, this can't happen. So then
we're all going to hell. You do realise that as this conversation, we're all going to hell.
Oh jeez, no, come on, yeah. Come on. Oh wow. But anyways, as I was saying before, that literally he goes to this motel. He just trying to get away from life. He goes in a motel. That's where he's staying like most of the time, Johnny. And he sees this boy, this Hispanic boy. So what's his name of the show? It was Miguel. This guy, he's my favorite character of the show. Miguel Diaz. He's my favorite character, literally, because he becomes Johnny's best and favorite student. So he trains him up because these bullies are bullying him, and then he teaches Miguel how to fight, and he becomes like a top martial artist throughout the show. And he a little bit spoilers here, so he basically wins the tournament in the first season.
Okay.
For Johnny's faction, you know what I'm saying, the Cobra Kai.
So did he tell them if the guy stands on one leg for 3 hours, just punch him in the face? Just shoot your leg.
No, I kid you not, yeah. That's show
one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. He just stands there with one leg.
This show is more realistic, though. This show is more realistic, more grounded.
Please.
In terms of like the one leg kicking up, they don't really do any of that, really. They kind of allude to it, but nothing really of that like kind of one shot attacks now. More like build up in terms of like combinations and how martial arts tournaments would actually go. So it's more realistic in that sense. So and at the same time, Johnny's like literally a man outside time. He's like living the 80s. He's like, yeah, man, I get girls, man. Hey, you got to wear this, and the kids are looking like, what are you talking about? Look at this old man. Get away from me, old man. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. This show is so funny as well. It's unexpectedly funny. It's crazy.
So it sounds like a comedy. Like it knows how to have a laugh with it.
Yeah, that's the thing, because it actually there's little bits in there. It's like a little bit of a comedy in there as well. At the same time, the drama. It mixes it in pretty well.
Okay.
So that's Cobra Kai.
Okay. So it's better than it's better than that female Karate Kid and
that was horrible. Oh.
And the Jackie Chan Smith.
Anything has got to be better than the Karate Kid version with Jaden Smith in it.
That's the little name.
Well, it was Jaden Smith, and what was the other one? What was her name? It was
Jackie Chan.
What's her name? The one who was the female one. What was her name now?
I don't know,
I have no idea.
It doesn't matter anyways.
Can I just get something off my chest at this point?
Go on.
That Karate Kid film with Jaden Smith is about kung fu. It's not the Southern Karate Kid.
I know. It's different.
Sorry. I've finished my
exactly, Tom. I love it. I love what you said that. I love it.
I just want to say one thing on the podcast. James Smith, fuck you. Right, done. Moving on.
It's a bit harsh.
I know that was a bit like
You're not fit to even suck your dad's jock shot. So.
Oh my, come on! Wow.
Go.
Wow.
Let's go.
Ouch.
Let's go.
Wow. Ooh.
One, if this podcast gets famous, I am going to have enemies.
This was gonna rock up to bed like, wait, what'd you say about me? Let's go bed be like, what? What?
That's when I said nice things about Russell Tovey. He had a nice bum, and I will point that out. Okay.
Yeah, it's me who's going to get attacked by Russell Tovey.
Oh, jeez. Russell Tovey. Oh, jeez.
Well, we knew what we were doing when we started this podcast.
Yeah, we knew, eh? We knew.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Troy.
Yeah, so let's continue. All right. Number 2, a show called Aries. It's a Netflix show. Just came out.
Aries.
Yeah, it's called Aries.
Aries.
So,
Aries or Arians?
yeah, Aries. A-R, yes.
Okay.
Guy Xena the Warrior Princess.
Yes,
Aries.
that's Aries. In a way, yes. That kind of spelling. It's called the Aries.
Yeah.
Huh? Anyway, so Aries, Dutch horror drama web TV show. So,
Okay.
yeah, so it came out in January. So literally, I just started watching it episode by episode. So I'm on the third episode now. Literally watched the first 2. Taking it time bit by bit, taking my time with it because it's a great show. So basically, the premise is this girl called Rosa. She's like a med student, and she's basically getting disillusioned with university. She feels that no one's listening to her and her discoveries because her mum's sick. It's not really specified what she has, but she's trying to find a cure for it. Looks like, and she's trying her best to try and learn as much as she can. But these teachers ain't actually. She thinks that she's above these teachers. You know what I'm saying? They don't teach her anything. And her dad works night shifts. Literally, she's at home all the time trying to look after the mum. So this is how the plot actually starts off. Her friend called Jacob, he comes in, says he's going to take her out. So basically, he takes her out to this restaurant, and then literally he tries to leave because these rich high society people are sitting at the table across them. So then she goes, "What are you looking at?" So he's looking at these people and was like, "No, let's go." So then she goes, "Nah, let's check it out." So she goes over there and she chats it up with these high society people. But little that did she know, they know Jacob. And then this whole kind of the supernatural kind of witchcraft type thing kicks off. It's crazy. It's kind of like a, how do I say? Ooh, anyone seen Salem?
Yeah.
Ah, yes, you see Salem. Oh, Tom, you are the man.
Didn't you talk about Salem the other week?
You are the man. Salem, no, the actual show Salem.
But it's still better than Charmed. Anyway.
That's a show called Salem. Literally, the witch back in the days. It's not Fort Salem. It's another Salem. Because Tom knows what it is. Tom knows the difference.
Still better than Charmed. Anyway.
Yeah. That's not
exactly saying much.
Huh?
That's not saying much to say it's better than Charmed.
Oh, here we go. The Charmed bashing continues.
I think we can find a better, worse show than Charmed.
What do you mean? Charmed is... Okay, I'm not going to get on this. I'm not going to start ranting. No, don't do it. Don't do it, Ben.
Tom, I think we should do a special podcast on Charmed just so we can wreck Troy in 2 hours.
Don't do it. Don't.
You be as drunk as possible. You and me drink, Tom, get drunk, and we just Troy.
Get drunk.
Yeah.
Beating verbally like a red-headed stepchild. Anyway, sorry, sir.
Like I say, there has to be a certain quality threshold to our shows, and Charmed, nah.
Oh, wow.
Quality
threshold.
We are showing Charmed the respect it deserves by getting rat-assed. Right.
Hey, come on. Hey, anyone of you listening right now is a Charm fan, put it in the comments down below.
Listen, I stand by my theory that I could turn the camera around on my phone and film myself beatboxing for 5 minutes, and I'd be better than any episode of Charmed.
Oh, no.
Have 0 subscribers, then have Charm fans be our subscribers.
Oh, my God. Come on, Charm fans. Unite, Charm fans. Let's go.
I'm throwing that down now.
You see people just not banning people like Charm fans banning them.
I would rather like EastEnders fans come onto this channel before Charm fans. Just remember that. Right?
Wow, come on.
Anyway, feel free.
Anyway, let's continue about Aries. Let's go. Let's forget these guys, Charm fans. Don't worry about these guys. Anywho's, let's continue on Aries. Let's do this. Supernatural horror. So, literally, okay. So she gets recruited to the Aries Society. The people look for these people with special abilities, special gifts, or just a great aptitude for anything that they acquire. So they're kind of like, you never really see it because I'm in episode 2 right now, so I've watched 1 and 2. So you don't really see anything past that, but you know there's some kind of seedy underbelly stuff going on, right? Supernatural witchcraft type stuff going on. So literally, they get recruited. They get like an initiation into this society, and they have to kind of confess their sins of what they've done, or you know what I'm saying. So, Jacob, her friend, doesn't want her to go there in the first place. She said, "Don't join the society, just stay away." But she's a person that doesn't like to be told what to do, so she joins the society with him. And literally, this whole time he's trying to escape, and then she passes with flying colors because she becomes like the de facto leader of this group of newcomers, and she's like the head, of this little group. And Jacob's literally the first one to escape, and they go into this room, and there's this black creature. Anyone seen American Horror Story? The rubber man.
I've started, yes, season 1. Yes, he's a creepy little.
That weird rubber man, that flipping. Oh man, that story. Anyways,
Man.
I can't stand that season 1. Season 1 is trash. But
Salem's good, but we're not going to talk about Horror Story.
No, we're going to talk about Horror Story. We're going to talk about another day. So right now, literally, there's like a creature, like a person down there, and at the bottom of this building, this society building of like a robber type figure, like a black ooze. And he's hitting the ground. The ground's starting to shake. He's chained up, and there's this guy. He rings up the general of this building and goes, "You have to keep feeding this thing, and then we can keep going." But because obviously they got to try to feed this creature, it's almost like a ritual they got to do to keep their power and money in a way.
Okay.
So that is the kind of little plot of the first couple of episodes. I'm still watching it. I'm still finished. I think there's 8 episodes. So shaping up to be very good. So that's the areas for you.
Okay. I'd like to hear what your opinion is in a future episode.
All right. It's going to happen.
Okay.
It's going to be
Anything else?
Whew.
Anything else? You sound tired. You want to go to bed now, old man?
No, I feel good, man. Just the energy, just talk about Charmed, man. Oh, whew, I feel good, man. I feel good to talk about Charmed, man.
Like sham. More like Buffy, you Xena and Alias all looked at that show and went, "Girl, fuck off."
I got to stand up for my Charmed Faithful guy. Come on, I got to stand up for my Charmed Faithful.
Only got a decent theme tune.
Oh my gosh, it's a pioneer in effects, guys. Come on now.
Can I ask you a question, Troy?
Any kind of witchcraft effects that you see, any superhero movie you've seen?
Tom, I have a question for you. Tom, help me out here. Hold on. What 2019 revival was more of a wet fart than the original, which is impossible? Charlie's Angels or the Charm reboot? Because really, both of them sunk like a wet fart in last year.
Yeah, that's the reboot, though. Reboots are trash.
They were worse than the original, and they were pretty bad to start with.
I don't understand why you would even try to reboot Charmed.
Yeah, why would you can't reboot Charmed, it's a classic.
No, you can't reboot it because there's no way you can polish that big of a turd.
Oh wow.
Trey, I have spoken to Charmed fans. Listen, you freaks. You're all freaks. These freaky people who are now acquaintances and going to be soon ex-friends have told me the reboot's even worse.
Oh,
and I've we need you for the podcast, so I can't cut you yet. Yeah, they told me it's in the original. How is that possible?
I was like, to be fair, guys, I am watching the actual reboot. I'm watching the Charm reboot. Okay. Let me live.
I dare you to bring the Charmed reboot to one of these podcasts.
Because I
might have to do it.
You will just hear headphones being put down while you talking to that for 5 minutes. Me and Charles will go away and start chatting.
I'm gonna do it now. Okay, Tom, you challenged me. It's got to be done now. It's got to be done.
And somehow we're linking to a second part of the podcast where you get dual audio of me and Tom just talking shit about Troy when he's on the other channel. You can do that shit now. We're linking to a PS4 live broadcast where me and Tom just jump on Resident Evil and talk shit about you behind your back.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Track very quickly, lads. Are you done, Troy?
Me, yeah, I'm done. Talking about Cobra Kai, everybody's about great shows. I'm done.
Uses these free picks. Seriously. Okay.
Nah, man, gotta keep it true, man. Keep it solid, yo.
So, because we bring 3 things to talk about each week, we don't always necessarily bring things that we're watching that week. We tend to dip into the back to the archive sometimes of stuff we've recently watched.
Yeah.
Which I'm using a mixture of this week. Do apologise, but I am working on some shows that will be ready for a couple of weeks ahead. I'm just kind of got stuff in plan, plus the Red Dwarf podcast and the specials, but we'll get into that at the end of the podcast. So my first pick is something that I finished this year. It's quite well known. It's Dark Materials on BBC One.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Really, really good. I've been told that the books are amazing.
Yes.
How do we get into this? Okay. Aren't I prepared today? It's about a girl. It's basically our planet, but okay, I'm going to start this again. It's basically about a 13-year-old girl who lives at university and how do you describe this show to people? Lyra. Yeah. So she's a young orphan. She stays to school as in a college in Oxford. They're Oxford. And they have all children have a animal, which is like their nervous system. So they both feel pain. I don't know their names. This is so good content, isn't it? Hold on. I'm saving myself here. I'm trying.
We got you, man. We got you.
Hold on. Can someone throw me a life paddle just so I don't drown? Hold on. What's their bloody name?
Don't worry about names for now. Just go through the story.
Yeah. Which character are you trying to think of?
Lyra. It's those animal things.
The bear?
No. All right, there's these little creatures. I'm just going to call them. No. So there's these animals that are like connected magically to these children, and you find
I know the
out.
ones you mean. Yeah. Can't think of their name, but yeah, I know the ones you mean.
Right now, and I can't find it on Wikipedia. I've had a look. There's pretty scary in Wikipedia. It's got backstory and everything.
Is it like a familiar thing, like the witches and their cats and that?
Yeah, it's very similar to that. I can't remember the name, but it's a familiar. We'll go with that. Okay. So basically, she has a uncle. You guys know it quite well, right?
I know a little bit. Some people know me. I don't know too much about
because I want people to watch the show, so I'm just not going to get into it too much.
I know the books better than the show.
Tom knows more than the books. That's why.
So she just goes on an adventure. She finds out who her parents are, and without being spoiled, there's a separate plot going on in the real world, which is our world, and it's alternative worlds. It's got a pissed up polar bear who drinks alcohol with armor. It's just really, really good. I really enjoyed it, and the theme tune is amazing. I don't know who does it, but the theme tune just really big movie style. And I found out that the girl is played by the young girl from Wolverine. Diane.
It's 23.
Yeah. She's quite wooden, I think.
Yeah, she ain't the greatest, but yeah. She passes. She's passable.
What do you think, Tom? Because it's got great acting. One of the characters is Ruth. Bloody hell. One of the main characters is. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. I can't remember.
No, but to be fair, I saw Dark Materials sort of like that. I need to start watching. To be fair,
chick from Luther, please. What's her character's name and the actress's name?
They're escaping me because I'm too tired to think. But
Oh, good. So Troy.
Well, Dark Materials. Okay, let's get into this.
Don't cut any of this. Okay.
No, we're keeping this going. Yo.
Good. Ruth Wilson, who plays Mrs.
Marissa Coulter.
Coulter, yeah. And it's also got the X-Man, Lord Asriel, played by James McCoy. I so wanted her to be to do a little X-Men in the corner, but they didn't. Diane Keaton, and it's not like it's just a really good show. I
Yeah, I
enjoyed it.
forgot McAvoy's in it. I forgot. Yeah.
Andrew Scott was in it. What? Oh, he must have been one of the creature characters that I didn't pick up on.
Dark Materials.
Yeah, but it's really good. There's Tom's most probably talk more about the books, but I've been told that they've brought certain things forward. Reading online, a lot of fans have complained that certain things have been forward.
Yeah, I heard about that.
But sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah, it has to be done. You can't do it exactly
I
that.
think that was a problem. I just said a lot of fans were really high on it and they're very happy with how it is so far.
Yeah, I mean, I've only watched the first episode, but having read the books, thought it was very good.
You need to get the pissed up polar bear, my friend. He is worth the time. Burak or something.
Part of the problem was, I mean, they brought out that film, The Golden Compass. I don't know what.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
and that kind
God.
of soured me against the idea of this being put onto film.
Yeah.
So I was very reticent about watching his Dark Materials because I remember just how much The Golden Compass fell on its face.
Yeah, it fell off.
But like I said, I enjoyed the first episode, so I'll take your recommendation and watch the rest of it.
It's fantastic. I actually really enjoyed it. I kept stopping it to show my wife, and she had no interest in it. It had just smashing shit up. I was like, "How can you not love this show? Pissed up polar bears, come on!" But yeah, really good. There's another 2 seasons for the show, and I think it will be really, really, really good.
They're commissioned 2 seasons for it.
Yes, they do. They want to keep it to at least 3 seasons because.
Have they filmed them yet, or is it?
They filmed the second one already. They're going the third one, obviously, because that prick coronavirus has decided to be a prick. It could put it back. So we have to wait. It will. It's got really high figures over here, and obviously Americans know their place and decide to cast British people in their roles, aka Game of Thrones. We're better than you, America. Just admit it. Anyway, so moving on. Next show. That's why all your Marvel characters are pretty much British now, isn't it? I know.
So he's got a point.
I'm going to surprise you. So I'm back on the Drag Race with RuPaul season 9.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it.
Are you seriously bringing Drag Race to this?
Did it?
I'm bringing it back, baby. Right.
Oh wow! I can see him on that show now, Tom. I can see him.
It's just hilarious. And we have found a Troy. We have found a Troy and a Stephen, and only you and Stephen are going to get that. We found you looking like this. He's got a laugh like you.
Oh my God!
He's got your hair. It's just him. My wife turned and went, "That's Troy." I was like, "Yeah, that is Troy." And then she found Stephen. She went, "That's Stephen." I was like, "Yeah, we found you." It was hilarious. It's the gayest thing on TV. It's just fun, and me and my wife will spend get into it when we're having dinner. And just properly already try and guess who's going home because we're into it. I don't know how much longer I can watch back-to-back drag races because they are a bit samey. One thing I've noticed is they have the same challenges on the same episode every year, so it's a bit unoriginal. It feels like it's on a treadmill. You know when the impersonation game is going to happen, where you dress up as a celebrity and take the piss. And the puppets and everything else. And at the beginning of a season, there is one problem with the drag race. They have 14 drag queens. So if you're taking one off every week, it takes a while for you to get a favourite. And a lot of the early ones get knocked out because they're not that great. So it takes 4 or 5 episodes until you start finding your early favourite and sticking with them. So... yeah. So I would still watch that show. It's if they've apparently coming back to the UK once the Corona thing's done, and if there's a live final, I'm going to take my wife to it. We'll be the only people in that building. I'm telling you right now. So yeah, RuPaul season 9. Go watch that. That's a fantastic little show. And I'm going to throw a curveball. I've got another show up, Japanese one. I was going through Channel 4 online, and it's at the World Drama section. Quite a lot of good stuff there, actually. There's too much good stuff on that platform, but because I am a Japanese whore, for drama. Nope, so I am not Japanese. I'm definitely not. I just want to correct myself there. I'm a big whore for Japanese drama. There is a problem. Troy will know this. Tom, we need to talk about AKB47. They are a pop band in Japan who have women dressed from 14 to 26 dressed up as high school girls who sing really shit music, and there's hundreds of them in this band.
My gosh.
Unfortunately, they always have to act, so you can normally tell which one's from AKB48 because they're normally the shit one in the cast of Japanese drama. Every time I've watched a Japanese drama in the last couple of years, you can guarantee one of them is an AKB48 spy or a former AKB spy. It's quite annoying. So guess what? It's set in a high school. There's this girl that we follow.
High school. Ben, where you going with this?
So please think that AKB is pure as you want, because I'm explaining this to an audience that may not know. They're not allowed to have boyfriends.
Yeah.
Because they have to be attainable by the fans. So they have to be ready to be single so that they could pretend to be a girlfriend to any fan, Tom. So they're attainable. Do you understand what we're going with here?
I understand what you're going for, although I'm slightly concerned that both of you have now brought Japanese schoolgirl shows to this podcast in the last weeks.
Hold on. No. Just I'm just praying. The reason I picked this show will become apparent in a second.
Okay.
So you're thinking that this will be a cheesy love comedy. It's not. It's about zombies. So
okay, cool.
Completely not like Troy, who just shook the animated tits because he's
here we go.
No, I'm joking. But you have no girlfriend. There's a good reason for that.
I've got girls. I haven't got a girlfriend to get it right.
Animated tits 24/7. You got stuck on Jessica Rabbit and couldn't let go. Anyway,
here we go.
I'm just attacking you today. It's a original. It's okay. So basically, there's this track and field star that we follow. She comes to the school, and you can tell she's kind of weird because she just smiles like she's murdered someone. Very weird.
Like Invasion of the Body Snatchers type.
Yeah.
So she's got blood coming out of her nose. And I'll give you a guess at how much of the cast is AKB. Every main character is from AKB48. I got one of them because she has the same surname as my wife, Maya Watanabe. So technically, my surname is now Ben Watanabe Gilman. So it's kind of weird, creepy when you see a Japanese surname pop up on the screen. But she's one of the more popular members that I know of because she's appeared in other things that I've watched. They're all utterly... This show is ridiculous because one by one, she has a father is a scientist. So she died in a car accident. But she was injected because he's found a regenerative, like Wolverine-style blood thing. And it brings people back from the dead.
Okay,
so you're with me so far. So she's
with you so far.
Okay, so she's got nosebleeds, and this is to make hot teenage boys want to go out and buy their music. They pass on the regenerative blood by kissing other girls or men.
Oh snap!
Can you see where this is going?
I can see that you're being very hypocritical in blaming Troy for his.
Exactly. Do you hear this, people? Do you hear this, fans? Do you hear this?
Tell me this yet. The reason I kept watching is because it's hilarious. Because she's murdering people right in front of school teachers. She's pushing people off of school buildings. And what should have been terrifying is it's just the comedy's misplaced. because two girls are having a chat. All of a sudden, the school code comes flying onto the table, bones popping out everywhere, and blood's everywhere, like a proper Japanese samurai film. Blood has just washed the whole screen. So you're thinking that's quite. Oh my god! Then the next scene, her elbow's popped off, and her hand is wonky, and she's waving goodbye to everyone. And it's just this show makes no sense. There's the main character is 16. I just want to point this out. She's a mature adult woman, 25 in real life, but her character
is she though, Ben? Is she?
Just remember, character is 18. So she teams up with a paranormal investigator who's 32. Can you see where I'm going with this? And they try and shut it down while the other schoolgirl is one by one infecting her schoolmates. And it ends up in a retreat. Obviously now she's the last one standing. And they end up together. Yeah, watch out. Basically, the finale is literally AKB. This is something I wish they would do in real life. Like Hunger Games, it's basically all the remaining. So the whole school's been taken over. And how do I just say this? It's AKB members beating the shit out of each other. Like the ones that are running away from some of them. And it's hilarious. If you hate their music, everything they stand for, it's quite enjoyable watching them beat the shit out of each other. It was fun. It was just I wanted to see how bad it got.
Yeah,
it's terrible. And now for every drama from Japan, I will be checking the goddamn cast listing before I start. I've learnt my lesson.
Okay, so guys, it's fair to see that Ben has taken over my role as the resident sleaze. Okay, so
yep.
At least there's no titties or anything weird. It's just
how do we know, Ben? We don't know.
So, well, please go watch it. I'm not unlike you. It's real women. We're all aged in their 20s at least in real life, so there's nothing wrong with it. Hello there. I checked the ages, boy.
Okay, I'm going there.
That is not a line that should ever be used.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. He's like, I checked the ages. I'm safe. I'm safe.
It's just a bad show. It's just a bad show. Well, not a bad show.
It's almost as dodgy as when Emma Watson was 15. The magazine kept doing a countdown to her 16th.
Oh, for real?
It's getting that dodgy, man.
See, I never. Yeah, that's dodge.
True dodge right there.
But you saying that you check the ages is not far off that.
Exactly, it's the same thing.
I checked at the beginning and went, okay, we're good, and then continued.
Tom, I love how I was just watching the show, like, it's like, oh, damn, I better check the ages real quick. Oh, what's that?
No, it was the older members of the group, thankfully, in their 20s, so it was fine. But I was checking the age before I started. Like, yo, I need to check myself before I get arrested. Oh, it's okay. Let's go.
Just a tip: if that's something you need to check, maybe don't watch the show.
Exactly, that's dangerous.
No, but it was a terrible, 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 terrible show. In all seriousness, don't go watch it. It's not worth your time.
Well, thank you for that recommendation.
Yeah, exactly.
So, look, this show doesn't always have to be recommendations. You can just
I know.
You can come out, pull your pants down, take a shit on it, and feel much better after you talked about it.
Yeah, true.
If I'm not here next week, you know what happened. So, I have a special announcement.
You see Ben arrested on the news.
Well, we're going to lock Troy in the cupboard because Troy's not here next week. He's got more important things to do, like isolate. So,
I got stuff to do, guys. Trust me, I'm busy man.
He's still fucking editing the podcast, you know. Anyway, we're going to lock Troy in the cupboard. He's not going anywhere till he learns his lesson. But me and Tom are going to... We have decided to make a decision. If one of us is ill or not there 1 week, we've all talked to each other because there's a load of shows that we want to talk about. And all three of us have to have seen the show for us to talk about it on the specials. But we've come up with a backup plan For example, because Troy's not here next week, me and Tom have decided to pick a show that we want to talk about, but we can't do it if Troy's here because Troy doesn't watch the show. So we've picked Copland. So me and Tom are going to talk about Copland for an hour and a half ish. Hopefully.
Copland.
Yeah.
Classic.
So we're still working on the Red Dwarf thing. We should have an announcement in a couple of weeks. We haven't.
Once we've decided on a name.
I still think Everyone's Dead Day should be the name of the podcast.
That is a good shout for a name, I'll grant you.
Yeah. But we'll talk Troy when we're off the air. But we are going to put that up in May, so that would mean Life of Mars and Ashes to Ashes goes into June, and then Baby Bradley goes into July for the special.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. But Troy has got reasons I don't know, and I don't care what those reasons are.
He's abandoning us. Yes.
Has to be done, guys. Just be done.
All
you need to know is for the greater good. So you need to know.
What, are you going to cure coronavirus, motherfucker? Is that where you got to go?
Hey, you never know.
Well, if you manage to cure coronavirus, I will forgive you for missing the show.
I'll thank you.
Yeah. 7 weeks, and he's already deserting us.
Here we go.
No, but it'll be back to normal the week after.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Bye from me.
We're going to go look Troy in the cupboard now. But before we do, we should be up on iTunes and Spotify by the time you hear this, or very soon after. We're going to be working on it. If you like, please share, like, and subscribe, and please pass it on to friends and family. And please send any emails to bengilman@gmail.com. I'm going to work on a Gmail for 2 weeks' time for a proper squared eyes one. Because, Yeah. Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Night.